Thank you for joining us today. One of my favorites, Sean Herbert from Got Sprouts, and this happens to be one of the topics I absolutely love. I'm tremendously excited. And, we can say those words, but this time I really, really mean it. Sean, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's an honor to be here, and I always look forward to chatting with you because you always point me in a different direction every time I talk to you. So I'm always excited to learn from you every time I talk to you. So thanks for having me on today.
Oh, thank you. But today, I'm here to learn from you. You are the expert. You're who I think about when it comes to sprouting and healthy eating. Yes, we have our specialties. I have aloe vera and I eat healthy and stuff, but sprouts are probably the most nutritious superfood on the planet.
Yeah, there are no doubt. I always have a unique analogy with sprouts, and what I usually tell people is that they're just like children. If you think of sprouts as children, kids have all the energy for growth, and that's exactly what sprouts are. They have like all this energy for growth, so they have 10 to 400 times more nutritional value in them than the adult counterparts. So I always tell people if I had a room full of adults and I flooded it with puppies and 2-year-olds, we'd realize how much energy these guys have. So I love talking about sprouts.
Oh man, that is great. Yeah, and I have to tell you, my brief experience with sprouting, how I got started, is actually one of my customers sent me this sprouting kit, and I can't believe I let it sit for a couple months. And one day I thought, well, I better use this up just to, and this little handful of beans turned into this super nutrition superfood that I was absolutely hooked on and haven't stopped since. It's amazing. What about you? What's your story? And let's back up before we talk about your story on sprouts. Tell us a little bit about who Sean Herbert is and your maybe health challenges that led you to seek out healthier ways.
Yeah, I have a really weird story, and I always tell people don't do what I did to get into sprouting. I kind of got into sprouting kind of the wrong way. I was back in 2004. I was diagnosed with severe Crohn's disease, and if anybody knows what that is basically when your immune system decides to attack your digestive tract. And unfortunately, I wasn't bouncing back, so they had to go in immediately and do what they call a resection surgery. And after the surgery, I wasn't doing much better after the surgery than I was before. So I was going downhill pretty quick. And that's when my angel steps in. My wife, Jody, is a 25-year now cancer survivor. And she learned the benefits of sprouting in live food. And she put me on this green juice, which had sunflower sprouts and pea greens and celery and cucumbers in it. And we juiced that up every morning. And within about 3 or 4 days, I really felt a spark come back in my body. And if anybody's listening out there, if you've ever been down that far where you're probably going to be checking out soon and you get a spark in your body, it gave me a lot of hope. And within a few short days, I started feeling much better from doing the juice. And that's all I was living off of was this juice. And so every morning my wife would juice for me. I couldn't even get out of bed. I was a mess at that point. So she juiced for me just about every day. And within a few short weeks, I was able to get out of bed. And when I felt well enough, I went and learned how to sprout myself so I could grow my own sprouts. I came home on my kitchen counter and I had this little 10 by 20 tray right next to my kitchen sink. And I started sprouting my little sprouts. And I just kept getting better and better and better. And the weird thing was, my neighbors, my friends, my relatives, everybody started seeing what I was doing and how I was progressing. And they said, Sean, what are you doing? And, at that point, I didn't really know what to say. So all I said was, I don't know, you got any sprouts? And that's where the name of my company comes from, which is right here, Got Sprouts.
I love it.
With a question mark on it, because I'm just so sold on this thing because it saved my life. And that's, it's my wife is also, she's been living the living food diet as well. So she's doing very well. She's been cancer free now for about 25 years. And we've been it's just grown organically, if you could say it that way. We started selling to giving sprouts away to my next door neighbors and friends and family and things like that. And they started telling people about me. And then I started getting phone calls from really sick people. And I started shipping sprouts to people, giving sprouts away. And it just morphed into this company called Got Sprouts about 16 years ago.
I completely get it. Being someone who love sprouting, and you make this wonderful product, and you know that there's so many people that don't even know what it is, don't know what sprouts are, have never had sprouts before. You want to give them to your neighbors. You know, it's not very sustainable sprouting for the world. Unless you make a business out of it, then you can continue to give, and that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Now,
And
what
it's
was
funny,
that?
all the parties we get invited to, because we always have a sprout salad. So
Yeah, oh, they are the best. And we call it, sprout salad, which is the salad part is sprouts is the foundation instead of lettuce.
right. Yeah. Yeah,
Which is,
we use sunflower and pea greens and broccoli microgreens and all different types of microgreens, and then we put the bean mix in there as well. It's amazing flavors.
you get that texture of lettuce, but you get flavors like there's some that are very oniony, and
Yeah. My favorite sprout is radish. I love radish because it gives it a little kick to it. So if anybody out there likes avocado toast, take a little radish microgreens, slice them up really nice, put them on top of there, and it's amazing flavors. So it really adds flavor to anything.
Yeah, definitely spicy. What was that mix that you started with that you were juicing? Was the sprout blend?
Yeah, it was actually it's a green juice, and we actually sell that now. We purchased a really expensive juicer during the pandemic here, and we started juicing them because so many people needed it, and it's really gone gangbusters, which is amazing. But it's sunflower sprouts and pea greens. Those two sprouts themselves have more protein than steak in them, but it's bioavailable protein, which means your body doesn't have to break it down to absorb it. And that's why, like for Crohn's patients, colitis patients, things like that, you want to do juices and things that are very light on your digestive tract, so that all of your energy goes to healing, and it takes all that energy that we spend on digestion away, and it gives it all to healing. So those are the proteins of the sprouts. The celery has natural electrolytes, which gives energy to the cells. And then you got the cucumber, which is a natural diuretic. So that flushes the body out while it builds you up. So it's just an amazing juices. Yeah.
Okay. Is that why I have to pee so much when I have cucumber? Okay.
Exactly. And you can also throw some ginger in there for flavor, or however you like to flavor it. But I like it just the way it is. It's amazing.
Now, you said something that I don't know that much about, and that was about the nutrition expanding. When you take a bag of beans, and as beans, there's a certain nutrient profile there. I don't know how much you know about the change, and I guess it's really impossible to say, well, on day 1 it's going to be this, on day 2 it's going to be that, and day 3 there's too much testing to do. But what do we know about the nutrient change going from a bean to a sprout? Do they? I don't. Personally, I don't get gas when I eat sprouts, but if I have beans, I do.
Yeah, and that's your body digesting them because they're very high in fiber. They say that the dormant seed has basically everything in it that the body needs. It's like the perfect food. When you sprout that, it just starts blowing up exponentially. So I'll give you an example. The beans, the research on the beans is when the tail is as long as the bean itself. That's the highest nutritional value for the beans, and it's just a powerhouse full of protein. But the nice thing about all these sprouts and things is they're bioavailable protein, which means your body doesn't have to break it down. They have their own digestives and enzymes in them. So it's nature's perfect food for being able to heal yourself. So that's why we talked earlier about what our favorite thing is about our jobs is being able to help people.
Oh yeah.
And watching people change, and just I can give you constant stories over and over again of people who've come into me saying, what do I do? And here, take this, try this. And a couple months later, they come back, they're glowing, they're happy, they're healthy. There's nothing better than that. So we're in the right business, Michael.
I agree. You mentioned the tail being the length of the bean for optimal nutrition. Now, for people listening, great. That's an excellent target. I like them that way in almost as a salad topping. I personally like the bottom part to be, maybe tails 2 to even 3 times longer. So I might be losing some nutrition benefit, but I have the joy of eating them the way I want or desire.
Yeah. And the thing about beans too is you can make hummus, you can make pâtés, you can put them in soups, salads, everything you want to add a crunch to. So they're like the perfect food, and they only take like 48 hours to grow. So it's really simple to sprout. I always tell this story. I said, I had an opportunity about 5 years ago to work for Tony Robbins' group, and they flew us over to Tenerife, Spain, and we were juicing for about 400 people over there, and we're juicing wheatgrass there. But I brought my own sprouts for food that week. I got to my hotel room, and I took the bean mix, which I had a pound of bean mix with me. And this is where I'm Mr. Sprout. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I actually made a mistake here. I actually soaked the entire pound of sprouts. So 1 pound of sprouts will give you 3 pounds of sprouted sprouts. So I had quite a bit of sprouts on my hands the next day when I came back in my hotel room. And the funny thing was, my wife, she didn't skip a beat. She grabbed all the sprouts. She walks into the kitchen at the Ritz-Carlton. She goes, all right, I need onion. I need this. I need cayenne. She just named off all these different things. The guy took them around. She made hummus. She made pate. She did all these different types of dressing and stuff like that, all using bean mix. So we got to eat very well for the whole week because of my mistake.
That's beautiful. And for me, the sprouts, you can eat them like popcorn right out of a bowl, or
absolutely, yeah.
Hummus. Do you use a blender, or what kitchen instrument do you use to grind your?
We could use a juicer if you want to. If you have a slow, like an Omega juicer or something like that, you can use really, there's so many different ways you can blend it up. You can use a blender, you can use a Vitamix, you can use a food processor. There's hundreds of ways to do it. But I
use the Vitamix, and it sounds like I'm probably burning the motor out, but it keeps on going somehow.
It's an amazing machine. Yeah, those are great. I've had mine for about 15 years now, so it's great.
Yeah, like filling it up about maybe halfway with chickpeas, some lemon juice, and really that's all you need. But I like putting olive oil in it and some salt, and even possibly some sesame seeds to make your own. But that's a little bit of a burnt, little stronger flavor. Go easy on those.
And the raw hummus is amazing too. I mean, there's nothing. Normally, when you buy hummus at a store, it's well blended and mixed with tahini and everything else like that. But when you actually do your own and it's raw, it's a lot thicker, and you can make it any texture you want. So it's great. And the stuff you're buying in the store, I'm going to suggest it's probably not sprouted and probably cooked beans before mushing them down. That's a good point. Yeah. So when you cook, you're losing your life force in it. So that you really want to eat as much raw food as you possibly can, because that's going to give you the life force. I can't. Yeah, absolutely agree with you. I personally have never tried juicing the sprouts. I've been tempted to. You've definitely inspired me. I'm going to give it a try. Yeah, it's an easy way to get good nutrition and very quickly and absorb it very quickly. So it's a great way to get energy quick. What would you recommend someone try sprouting for the first time? Basically, the beans is what I usually recommend first. The reason being is you basically soak them overnight. When you wake up in the morning, rinse them out really well. When you come home from work, rinse them out one more time. The next morning, they're going to have the little tails on them, and simply put them in the refrigerator and start eating. You can season them any way you like. I've recently got into, I don't know if you heard of the National Health Association, but they do no salt, no sugar, no oil, unless it comes from the source itself. So give an example. If you want olive oil, take an olive and blend it up. That's where you get your olive oil from. It's kind of like the next step. You go raw, and then you go living food, and then you want to go even further. So no sugar, no salt, no oil. So it gives you a little more challenges to kind of flavor your food. So I guess maybe if I needed salt, I just get a hammer and hit the salt. Yeah, exactly. Just yeah. You go out, you work out really hard, and you just lick your arm. Yeah. Okay. The bean sprouts. Which beans would you recommend for beginners? We have a bean mix, which is called it's got adzuki, mung beans, garbanzos, red lentils, and green lentils all mixed together. And because they all have the same sprouting times and things like that, you can sprout them all together. And I think I have some right here. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see this. Okay. How about this right there? Can you see that? Okay. Yeah, it's going in and out because it's green. So the green screen, it's playing tricks with. Yeah. But yes, you can see invisible beans. Personally, I like that mix too, because the adzuki are, a little bit bigger, a different texture to it. Your lentils are like a complete protein. The
garbanzos, you soak those for a day or two, and they're not quite growing tails yet. They're almost like the kind that people would sprinkle on top of the salads.
Right.
It's just a nice texture. And I think, what did you say, mung was in there?
Yeah, mung beans, and then of course the lentils, the red and green lentils, are in there as well.
Yeah,
So
that sounds like a delicious. And just to reiterate, that was sprouting by soaking. The only thing that's necessary is water.
Water, yeah, water in a container. That's all you need.
Which you probably have things that make it easier, certain things to strain the. I don't know what's in the sprouting kits these days for doing beans.
Well, I usually like the mason jars myself, which is not because I'm a 70s hippie myself. So I like to start with that. And that's the simple way to sprout is just use a regular mason jar with a little lid that has holes in it. They can rinse things out with. That's one way. Another way is a nut milk bag. And that's what I used when I went over to Spain. So that was easier to travel with. So that's a nice thing to use. And that's basically just a nylon mesh bag or a hemp mesh bag. And simply turn it inside out, put the sprouts in there, soak them in a pitcher of water, rinse it out really good, and hang it up and let it dry out. And as soon as it gets a little tails on, put them in the fridge. So it's very simple.
And another way I've done it is with a colander, and simply put the beans in the colander and set it in a pan, fill the pan up deep enough so the beans are submerged, and leave it that way for a day, and then rinse them for a day, or however you choose to do it.
That's it. We have an easy sprouter that's based on the colander idea.
Oh,
so brilliant.
So I didn't invent that. Okay. Now there's others that are requiring soil to sprout.
I like to grow everything in soil if I possibly can. The reason being, you've heard about probiotics, obviously. Mm-hmm. When you grow in soil, it has the natural bacteria that come with the soil. And that'll give you your B12 and things like that. A lot of people think that like wheatgrass doesn't have B12 in it, but it does. It actually absorbs the soil. Wow. So when you start growing wheatgrass, within about 4 or 5 days, it'll actually eat all the soil that it's growing in. So it actually absorbs the soil into the plant itself. So it gets a lot more minerals, a lot more good bacteria in there as well. So it's really great for the body that way. When we started growing, we wanted to grow for health. So that's why we grow in soil. So I always believe that God did it the right way. We're just kind of messing it up ever since then. So.
I agree with you. Yep. There's a way that seems right to a man, but the end is death, or something along that line. I may not have said it quite right. When you grow in soil, you're using like a sprouting tray, and how much soil, how deep?
Yeah, it's depending on what you're growing. We grow about 6 or 7 different sprouts in soil right now. We're doing the wheatgrass and the pea greens, which use about 1 inch of soil, and we're using 10 by 20 normal grow trays that most people, you can get them at nurseries and things like that as well. You can also use clamshells from take-it-home boxes to grow in if you want to. Just poke a few holes in the bottom of it. So it really doesn't have to be. That's the beauty of sprouting, is it's not expensive to do. The seeds are very inexpensive. The soil is very inexpensive, and all you need is water and light. So you pretty much have everything you need there. Okay. So I've got a good friend of mine who wrote a cookbook, and she shows a picture of her growing in her kitchen there, and all she's using is clamshells, the little take-it-home boxes that you have. So it's quite amazing that you can do these things. Huh. But so going back to the growing part of it, like wheatgrass, we use about 1 inch of soil. Sunflowers, we use about 3 inches of soil because it has a deeper root base and it has a very big leaf on the end of it. So you want to make sure, and you also have to put pressure on top of those. So they're all grown a little bit differently. They'll have little tweaks that they do. But once you get it down, and this is what we do here too at Got Sprouts, is we actually train you how to sprout. So people we're getting a lot of preppers that are coming in now, and they want to learn how to do their own kitchen gardens. So they come in and we start them off with usually the bean mix is the first thing we start them with. And then after that, we'll get them into the wheatgrass, the sunflower, the pea greens, the buckwheat lettuce. And then we get them into the microgreens after that, which are a little more difficult to grow. But once you have the process down, you pretty much can do it. It's very simple to do.
Are you teaching them at the store, or is this through online classes? Or
all the above. I used to teach at Hippocrates Health Institute. I taught the sprout class there for about 2 years. I did. We taught with the Tony Robbins group there. I have a lot of videos that are out there. None of them were filmed by me, so I don't know how good quality they are. I've got a couple that we're just starting to put on our websites. Once this pandemic hit, a lot of people were asking these questions over and over again. So we started putting little videos on our websites to, kind of get people up to where they need to be. But 99% of the people come in and they just want to learn how to start sprouting, and we start them right here in the store.
It is, for anyone listening, if you're not convinced yet, it is so rewarding. Get yourself a bean kit and do it. It's magnificent nutrition at the cost of beans.
Yeah. Yeah. Pun intended.
Well, and before I forget to ask, because you mentioned the videos, where are people going to find those videos if they want to see more of you?
Yeah, so if you go to gotsprouts.com, that's our website. You can go on there. We have a lot of videos on there as well, and videos that I've done over the last 16 years. So we have tons of videos there. If you go to YouTube, you can look up either Sean Herbert or Got Sprouts, and you'll see anybody who's come through the area has done a video with me at one time or another. So we have plenty of information that's out there. We enjoy the one-on-one because we like to coach people, and we love people to send in their pictures of their sprouting. I always tell people, when you first start sprouting, you're going to do it perfect because you're going to follow the instructions. The second time you're going to mess it up, and the third time you got it.
Yeah. It was really rewarding for me the very first time, and the mess ups are, maybe overgrowing them or something. You figure, well, this was so good. What happens if I grow it for a week? Oh, okay, that was a little much, and but in no time you become like an expert. Probably not at all of them. I haven't done much soil sprouting, just a little bit there. What are your favorite seeds to sprout in soil that's going to be the most rewarding for a beginner?
Sure. The first one, this is what I call the medicine of sprouts. That's wheatgrass. And really, grass is grass. All grass is the same. Wheatgrass tastes better, so that's why we grow wheatgrass. So you're going to use a hard red winter wheat seed is what you use for the seed. It's a growing period is about 10 days. And once you grow that, you can juice it. A pound of wheatgrass will give you about 6 days worth of juice. So it's very simple. You only have to juice 1 to 2 ounces per day to get the benefit out of it. But wheatgrass is off the charts nutritional. It's like, I always tell people, when a dog or cat gets sick, what's the first thing they look for? Grass, right? So they know, they're instinctive. They know what's good for them. So what, and if you think common sense wise, I don't know how many trillions of animals there are on the planet, but every one of them either directly or indirectly has grass in their diet. So if you think of it that way, there's a reason why we have to do wheatgrass. Most people aren't eating, the right foods. So if you can do a shot of wheatgrass, it's like eating 5 salads a day. So it's a great way to start your base of your diet. And plus it gives you amazing energy. It's got it's off the charts nutritional. It's got 102 vitamins and minerals that are easily absorbed to the human body. And it's just amazing. Yeah.
For those that are drinking the aloe vera, yes, when you put wheatgrass juice in aloe vera, oh my goodness. First, the color is just magnified. I guess it's diluted from the wheatgrass. So you see your aloe just burst with color and flavor because there's a little bit of a sweetness to the wheatgrass juice. It's kind of like lemonade, sweet and sour, just a little bit of sweetness from the wheatgrass and a little bit of tart or sour or bitter or whatever it is, however you describe the aloe. But together it's like lemonade. It's just delicious and beautiful.
Story earlier about the gentleman that came in recently, where I want to say it was probably 10 or 12 years ago. I had a gentleman come in who was very prominent in the area here, and he had throat cancer. And he came in and he goes, I can't swallow, I can't eat, I can't do anything. So I gave him a bottle of your aloe vera juice, and he took it home. And within about 3 days, he came back and he goes, Sean, I'm going to tell you this one time. He goes, I gave this to my doctor, and he said, if you don't prescribe this for everybody who's had this surgery, I will never talk to you again. So he was floored by, the medicinal value, obviously, but the coat soothing and healing. It's common sense. You get a burn on your arm, you put aloe on it. Same
it accelerates the healing.
Yeah. So it's just an amazing plant. So yeah.
For sure.
One of my favorite smoothies, I'll take a Sun Warrior protein powder. And this is if I got to do breakfast on the run or something. I'll do a little Sun Warrior protein powder. I take your aloe vera and I put it in ice cube trays. And I take an ice cube out every day and put that in there. And I'll take a banana and some, and I'll put E3 Live in there or something like that, and whatever I have laying around at the time for supplements, and a shot of wheatgrass, and that's my smoothie to go.
That's
So,
neat. That's another fun one to put in the aloe veras, the raw algae.
yeah, yeah, another
Um,
amazing plant. So
yeah, and the E3 Live, what an amazing, delicious product.
yeah,
When I say delicious now, healthy is delicious to me. Anyone out there that, you must be nuts. Yeah, it tastes like E3 Live. It tastes like algae, but
yeah,
it's full of life. As you're eating these things, you
yeah,
taste life.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I might ask someone else what would be their favorite sprouts to put in a sandwich. And I think I should probably ask what would be your favorite sprouts to put in a lettuce wrap.
Yeah. Yeah. I do eat sandwiches as well. So I do like that. I
Oh,
use
okay.
Ezekiel bread, which is good. Sprouted grain bread. My wife came up with a really unique dressing recently, and it's called a Chia dressing. It's Chia with Dijon mustard, and it's all organic. She uses olive oil, and she uses what else is in there? Bragg's amino acids and lemon juice, and it's phenomenal. And you have to soak the aloe soak the chia for about a half hour so it congeals,
Mm-hmm.
and then you blend it up with the rest of the ingredients, and it's like this creamy chia mustardy dressing, and it's fantastic. So we have that on our salads that we sell. It's amazing.
I like the concept because
Yeah,
there's almost
sprouted
like
dressing.
vinegar glazes, but they use
Yeah,
sugar to thicken it up. And I never
right.
thought of making something with chia.
Yeah, yeah. Chia is my favorite. One of my favorite things to make things with. And I used to love ice cream, so I got completely off of ice cream by switching over to chia pudding. And I always tell people, like, if you want to start the living food diet, find things that are similar and just switch over to those things. Like almond milk is common sense, from milk to almond milk. Chia pudding to ice cream. And be careful when you do your organic banana ice cream, because that's pretty tough on the stomach.
Well, it works for me. That's one of my favorites is the chia in the almond milk with the
Yeah,
banana. And some will be
yeah,
blended up and some will be chunky in there just for the texture.
yeah, yeah. Blueberries, strawberries, whatever you want to put in, it's fantastic. Yeah.
I have
But,
a favorite, vegan protein that has a little stevia flavor in it that just
yeah,
gives it that more dessert flavor.
yeah,
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 great, super healthy treat.
yeah, yep. And then find things that are similar that you can kind of slowly move into. I always tell people, like, my wife changed into this diet like day one. It took me 8 years to get as good as I am, and I'm still not as good as her.
Oh boy.
I still love my pizza once in a while.
Yeah. I can relate. I try not to, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Probably have some healthy ways of making it though. So
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays, it's one of our favorite pizzas is arugula pizza. You take some glaze. You get you can get gluten free crust now, and you can take cashew cheese and put it over the top of it if you want. Melt that down there. It's all vegan cheese. And then you can take some pour arugula over the top of it, and then you put a little demi glaze over it. It's fantastic. It's so good.
awesome.
It's like a pizza salad.
I like it. We're gonna have to go eat after this now.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what we're gonna find on gotsprouts.com.
Okay. When you first go on there, we basically I kind of stayed away from the health claims for most of the sprouts because we got deplatformed one time. This is years ago. Anything when you talk about cancer or Crohn's or anything like that, they kind of shy away from that stuff.
Okay,
So,
well, don't say that stuff. I'll just say anyone listening right now, they are super anti-cancer.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll say it.
Keep it simple. Right? So yeah, we've done all the research on broccoli sprouts, so we all know about that one. Even cancer patients know about that one now, so that's pretty good. It's out of the bag. So you're going to see all the different sprouts that we sell. We have about 22 different varieties of sprouts that we sell in seed form, and then we have about 7 or 8 that we actually grow for you. So you can have them either delivered locally or we can ship them overnight to you. So we've been shipping all over the country now for about 12 years. So we've gotten it down pretty well. And And then, of course, we have all the growing trays, everything you need to get growing into the sprouting. We also got into tower gardens, if you're familiar with that, which are kind of self-sustained aeroponic systems, and been doing very well with those as well. I had a customer who actually wanted me to grow 2 tower gardens for her for a Christmas party, which was kind of interesting. And we actually had it at my store. And it was just a blast. We had a 3-piece band and we danced. It was a fantastic night.
Fun. Excellent. I know that, living things like music too. So they probably grew even better.
Yeah.
Everything that was in there.
Everything was dancing.
I love it. Okay. So, and if you're heading to gotsprouts.com and you're picking up some sprouts that are already done for you, I encourage you also to pick up a sprouting kit, get your own beans, and see how easy and rewarding it is. Sean, man, I tell you, I want to thank you so much for taking time with us today to inspire people and help them realize, what they might be missing out on. Do you have anything else that you'd want to share? Any nuggets that you want to give to our audience?
Well, I think the best thing is what we were talking about when we first started was what an amazing job this is to be able to watch people walk in who don't know anything about what you're doing, give them a little bit to start with, and kind of build them into a lifestyle and watch them actually grow. Because if anybody really takes a look at what's really going on out there, go to Walmart one day and just look at the people there. We're not living the way we should be living. Everyone should be healthy and vibrant and outgoing, and what would you do with more energy? Think of it that way. If you had 50% more energy every day, how would you show up as a person? Your relationships, your business, your just being you, your spirituality, everything. It enhances everything. And this is the way we should be living. And the more we get to growing and to living food processes, that's what we should be eating. There's no doubt about it. You read the articles on cancer and all these other illnesses. This is the prevention. This is insurance. If you want real insurance, real life insurance, and real health insurance, start eating properly. What we put into our bodies, it's common sense. We put life into our bodies, we're going to get life out, right? So
I like what you said about energy, because people talk about aloe vera and, oh, come on, does it really help people that are fighting cancer? And okay, well, that might seem a little extreme, but we know that you put it on a sunburn and that does better, right? Mm-hmm. You all get that part, right? And, I know how anti-cancer sprouts are, but okay, that might be something that, it's too far out. Like, come on, really? Okay. We all know that just like aloe will soothe the sunburn, we all know that green plant foods increase your energy and give you that vibrance. And so many people are missing that. They're walking around, with fatigue and in a daze and lacking clarity of thinking. They're lacking very basic, simple nutrition, things that don't come in packaged foods. They grow. They're live, living foods. And so that's a no-brainer. I like the fact that you said energy, and I think that's
life in, life out.
that's probably the nugget today.
Yeah. And it's just watching people change. You're really watching people sprout into who they really should be when they come in here. It's amazing. It's so much fun.
Into who they should be. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. There's just the energy and they're becoming who they should be. And they've been bogged down with horrible food for the last 10 years, and now they've got to turn it around. And listen, for people out there, you don't have to go completely raw. Start putting this on top of salads, put them on soups, put them on your sandwiches, put them on your pizza. Just get a little bit more in there every day, and your body will start changing. Your taste buds will start changing. I can't remember the first time I had sunflower sprouts and goat cheese. That was like the first couple of weeks I was trying to get into this diet. I was like, wow, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Your taste buds change. It's amazing.
Yeah, you don't have to go raw with the sprouts. I remember the first time, early on when I learned about sprouting, I got excited and went bought one of those, 7-bean soup mixes, the hard beans. And I thought, wow, what's going to happen if I soak these or sprout these for a day or two before putting them in the, I think I did it in a crock pot of some kind, but before I made my soup. Absolutely delicious. It was cooked, but I guarantee it was more nutritious than had I not sprouted those beans, probably 5 or 10-fold at least.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Good stuff.
Excellent.
Sean, you are one of those people. There's not many like you. You know, there's people that are leading nutrition in what they do. And you know, I not to boast, but hey, our aloe vera company is pretty unique. You mentioned E3
Yeah.
Live. That's a pretty unique product. And you're one of those people. You're in this circle changing lives in a most important way. So I just want to thank you, and thank you for joining me today.
My honor. Yeah.
Go to gotsprouts.com. Check out some of the content, and there, you said there's a YouTube link that they can click on to check out your YouTube channel. All right. Sean, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michael. Be well.
Oh, you too.
Take care.